Okay. This is going to be my next video. It's going to be about, this is all just off the top of my head, really. Um, they all are, pretty much. But anyway, was thinking about the pros and cons of being diagnosed early and being diagnosed later in life. And I know there's pros and cons in both of them. I would tend to think that you would be better off knowing um, than not knowing. Um, the only advantage I could see of not knowing is that you probably put yourself in situations that, just out of stubbornness or ignorance. I'm thinking some of the things that I've done. God, I I don't know if I can make this a short story or not, but I part of one of the things I did earlier on in my life is was an interpreter for the deaf, and I had an opportunity to work with a lady, and we were going to interpret a play. It was called Children of a Lesser God, and we showed up for rehearsal. It's like weekly. We'd go in, and we were interpreting for the lead lady who was deaf, and she was actually a friend of mine. The lead lady was. Well, long story short was that the lead man had quit because that position required you to know her. You had to sign to her, and he couldn't just make it up. There's no way, and he would have to memorize. Well, the way that play went was the lead man never left the stage, and I don't think there was an intermission. But anyway, about 6, 8 weeks before the play, I got a call, and it was a producer. He said it was like a Sunday. I remember it was like I didn't suspect anything, but it was odd. It's like he said, "Hey Tom, how you doing?" Something like that. And long story short, he said, "Yeah, the lead quit. We want to know if you wanted the part." And I mean, like, huh? What? I'm interpreting. I mean, what? And he said, "Yeah, we think you do pretty good in that part." And I did it. I accepted it, and it was. I don't know. I mean, how many? It was a playbook. It was probably 50, 60, 70 pages. And of course, 90% of, well, the lead never leaves. So 90% of everything in there was either my lines or the leading lady's lines. I had to memorize both. So I had to, I don't, I just remember it as being about 6 weeks. It may have been 8, but but I was memorizing lines up until the night of the play. That's what I'm talking about. You know, and I don't know how many times we did that play. We must have done it 20 times. Uh, Jeez, that was stress. That was ungodly. That was ungodly. Anyway, would I have done that? If I had said, I'm on the spectrum, how many of those kind of things that I did out of pure stupidity? I mean, I did okay too, you know. Oh, so anyway, you just wonder, huh? Um, but I was, I'll tell you some of ironically, I think this is, I called my cousin, and I don't talk to her a lot. Matter of fact, I don't talk to her enough. It's been quite a while, years since I talked with her. And I looked her up on Facebook, and I got a hold of her and started just saying, hey, just let you know. But I was curious. I had suspicion that my grandfather might have been on the spectrum too, and I wanted to get her perspective of it. And she was pretty young then, and she didn't remember anything out of the ordinary. But she said, it's interesting you bring this up because I'm pretty sure my husband is an ASD. And I'm like, really? I mean, and that was not a good story. I mean, I know another friend who's got a husband who's ADHD, and just about both of them. It just about wrecked their marriage because both of them were thinking, this person's not even talking to me. This person not even doesn't care what I say or need or do, or I mean, and my cousin was saying, she now that she understands, can put it in context. He almost feels guilty because of holding him to a standard that he couldn't be held to. But anyway, so there are pros and cons definitely. I wish that I had known, because I think it affected relationships, and I'm not in one. Never was. I mean, I never was in. I never got married. To put it that way. And it's something I wanted. And but seems like everything kind of broke down over communication. Now, for the most part, I think ended the relationships too. I won't go into detail, but anyway, there's one example, and I think it affected work. I think it affected what careers that I didn't have a clue. I still don't have a clue what I want to do when I grow up. I don't think I have that sense of what I'm good at or something. I don't know what it takes. Um, I think it would have let me work. I mean, back when I was the age I would have been, back in the late 60s, early 70s, I don't think I really had much of an idea what to do with people anyway that were on the spectrum, unless you were really severe, they prevent you from doing some sort of a self-stim that's injurious or obvious, problems that were affecting your life seriously. I mean, basically, they were borrowing from other psychological interventions to try to help, and a lot of times they were wrong, like stopping stimming, So, I guess in some ways, you may count your blessings that you weren't diagnosed, especially when you hear some of the horror stories. I mean, some of the people that had some pretty, pretty uh, deeply involved sensory or whatever, one lady I've been watching, Lily Alive. She has what's called autistic catatonia, and she didn't know what was going on. And she ends up going to a psych ward, thinking that she's schizophrenic or whatever. Whoa! I'll make a link to that. I write it down because I don't remember when I'm finishing my video. Lily Alive, catatonia, and psych ward. Ugh. Anyway, I think the other bad thing about not being diagnosed is that you lose touch with your natural tendencies. I still, I'm, I'm learning how to stim again, and it just blows me away to even say that. But there is something there. There's something there that helps me connect. Anyway, about 9 minutes in. If you have or have not been late diagnosed, um, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and I'll respond, of course, too. But anyway, just some thoughts on that. Late diagnosis versus early diagnosis. So anyway, I'll talk with you all later. Thank you for joining me.